Good day, collectors and viewers. Social Distance Warrior is back, and today we're going to look at Luke Skywalker from Star Wars A New Hope, right from the end of that movie before we finished off into the end credits, called Yavin Ceremony. So, Luke Skywalker, of course, in this outfit made his debut in the Star Wars A New Hope back in 1977. We would see him in this outfit after he took out the Death Star with the help of his friends Chewbacca and Han Solo. And then they'd land back on Yavin 4 and they'd have a ceremony there at the end with Princess Leia and Han Solo and Chewbacca and 3PO, R2, the rest of our Rebels crew. And this obviously the famous scene here where everybody gets a medal except for Chewbacca. He ended up getting one in the sequel trilogy, but not in the original trilogy. It was omitted. Nonetheless, Luke Skywalker, of course, never had an action figure made of him in that original outfit, and he would don that same outfit again. Not many people maybe know this, but between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, there was a Star Wars holiday special, notorious Star Wars holiday special, that had a live-action, I guess you can say, TV movie. Now, Luke Skywalker never wore that in person in the TV movie, but there was a 15-minute holiday special short that had the debut of Boba Fett in it, and Luke Skywalker, of course, is seen wearing that same outfit, the yellow jacket, the black pants, the black shirt and the brown pants from the end of Star Wars A New Hope, and he's donning it in that show, which was pretty neat as well. I love that scene in the movie. So we'd never get him in action figure form. Empire Strikes Back would come out. Return of the Jedi would come out. Of course, he'd never wear this outfit again. And then Star Wars would go dormant, like we talk about in every one of the videos, and then make its renaissance with the Power of the Force 2 in 1995. So in 1997, we'd finally get our first likeness or iteration of Luke Skywalker in his ceremonial outfit, and he would come out on the green card / freeze frame card. And I have that here to show you as well. So let's have a look at him in that original release. So these figures did come with these freeze frames where you could get a viewer that you could mail away your proofs of purchase from your figures and some money for shipping, and you get a viewfinder that would show you those images there. And it's a picture of Luke Skywalker from the end of the movie. There he is on card, so a brand new likeness. It's got a nice little depiction here. It says Luke Skywalker in ceremonial outfit with blaster pistol. So omitting the lightsaber, but he does come with his blaster pistol. So you can see what he looked like on card there. It still has the Kenner logo at the time. And there is the freeze frame, and then there's Luke Skywalker in package. So let's flip that around and have a look at him in package there. Again, all these figures came with cards with little bios on there. In here it says, in the main throne room of a Masasi, if I'm pronouncing that properly, temple, Luke Skywalker receives an honorary medal for his part in the destruction of the Imperial Death Star. Now, Luke gets one, Han gets one, poor old Chewie has to stay naked with his bandolier, but that's what he'd have in that scene there. And there's Princess Leia, of course, there in the back, and our famous droids. So here's a few other figures that came out in this set as well, and a few creatures with characters as well. So let's have a look at the figure out of package as well. We have that here to show you. So here's Luke Skywalker out of package. Just like a lot of the figures at the time, he suffers from a very beefy look. He's a lot better than that original release, but still doesn't really stand the test of time very well. It's a very nice figure. I was really excited to get this character and this figure at the time because we never had this figure released in this outfit, and it was great to see Luke in a jacket kind of reminiscent to what Han Solo was wearing as well. So let's have a nice close-up there of his head just so you can see what he looked like. They're using that same head likeness that they did on the Farm Boy Luke, that they did on various other Luke Skywalkers. They kept that one look, and he's got the nice blue eyes there. So you can see what the detail was like back in 1997. He does come with a removable medal, so he does come with the medal there. Let's just have a look at that close, which is neat. So the medal does have some, texture and design on the front to try and capture the way it did in the movie. And it's basically just the hard plastic that sits over. It's shaped already, so it sits nicely over his neck, over his head there, and it sits nicely prominently on the front, so he can have his Ceremony medal. Now it's too narrow to fit over Chewbacca, so you can forget Chewie getting one of these medals at this time anyway. So that's what the medal looks like. Let's have a look at Luke. There's Luke there. He's got his jacket on. So the head is articulated. We can move that head side to side. Okay, on Luke. Now his jacket here is a separate piece that sits over the tunic. It's not removable because you can't pop the arms off, but you can see it is a separate piece, so it does give it a nice depth, nice realistic look on there. It's got a nice little collar on there as well. He's got his DL-44 blaster in hand there. That's the only weapon that he came with. We'll take that out of his hand just to look at the figure in a little more detail. You can see his arms, they move up and down. Of course, the figure, at the time, they have nice articulation there at the torso as well. You can turn him side to side to have him shooting. Down here, we can see a sculpted holster on his pant leg. And his pants, very reminiscent of Han Solo's from Empire Strikes Back when he went to Bespin. But this is Luke, and he's in a wide stance there. So leg articulation as well. You can move his legs up. You can move his legs down. So that's what Luke in ceremonial outfit looks like from the front. We'll flip him up here to see what he looks like underneath. You can see he's got his foot pegs. And it does say 1997 there, Lucasfilm Limited, Kenner, China. Okay, so that's what he's got underneath. When we turn him to the side here, we can see the nice design, yellow design there on the pant leg with his boots. Got a nice beefy chest and arms there, muscular Luke Skywalker. And then we turn around to the back, and that's what he looks like from the back. And this is the Luke Skywalker that we got for the very first time in that ceremonial outfit. We'll put his medal back on, just so we can see how nicely that sits there. And then we'll put that blaster back in hand. And then we'll see what else was in store for Luke Skywalker in his ceremonial outfit. Let's see if I can get him to stand. Maybe not so easy. There we go. So he get re-released again in 1998, also as part of the Power of the Force 2. This time is part of the Princess Leia collection. So he would come in a 2-pack with Princess Leia. And I'm going to throw a picture up there for you to see as I don't have him loose. He does come with a fabric jacket. So all the characters that were in that set had a cloth/fabric tunic, and they were trying to, widen their range of who they're reaching out with for the action figures. They didn't really perform too well. But it was nice to have these characters. There was a Han Solo as well. There's Princess Leia. She came with Wicket the Ewok and her ceremonial outfit as well. So there were, I think, 2 or 3 sets. And Luke Yavin was one of them. So we'd have to wait a number of years. We'd have to jump all the way to 2007 in the anniversary collection. And we'd get Luke and his Yavin Ceremony outfit as well. So we have him on card back over here as part of the 30th anniversary. That's this Luke. Now you'll notice that he comes in a really nice card back. This one, there were some rarer card backs that came with a gold coin. This is one of the card backs that was a little more difficult to find, a chase one as they called, Ultimate Galactic Hunt. And instead of having the silver coin, they came with a gold coin, and they had a gold foil logo up here on the top corner as well. So you can see a nice picture of Luke Skywalker there on the front. The character designs on these card backs were very, very good. Unfortunately, I can't say the same about the figure. So it's a brand new sculpt, but the head sculpt definitely leaves more to be desired on this guy here. It looks nothing like Luke. His hair color is very, very dark. He does have a new medal around his neck there. So everything's brand new on this guy. He does have a lightsaber hilt on his belt there. And he does have a holster for his gun. And he does have articulation, of course, swivel at the shoulder, at the elbows. You can turn him at the wrist, and of course you can bend his knees and his ankles as well. But I got rid of my loose one because I wasn't really in favor of this character at the time, because as we'd see, we might get a better one, hint, hint. So that's what this character looks like from the front. Let's take another close-up just so you can see him there in packaging. So it's a nice depiction on the package there. There's the coin. You can see his coin there. So I think it says number 12. On the coin. There was a coin set that you could put these guys in at the time as well. And we turn around to the back, and then we can see a nice bio on Luke Skywalker ceremonial outfit there, and a picture of him there from the movie, and of course a picture of him here showing you that you can, put his arms behind his back so he can wait to get his medal on like he did in the movie. There's some other figures that were released at the time as well in the 30th anniversary collection, which was a really neat set. So that's the Luke Skywalker that we get in 2007. And unfortunately, I don't have a loose one to show you, but I'm going to show you what would transpire and where we'd go from here next. So we'd have to wait a few more years, this time 2013. As part of the Black Series, there was a 3.75-inch line as well as a 6-inch line when that line came out, and there was a brand new Luke Skywalker and Yavin Ceremony. So that's this guy over here. Now, what was interesting is at the time, I was a little frustrated. I never picked him up because I'm like, why are they making and re-releasing this figure that I already have? I've got him already. I'm not going to buy him twice. I'm not going to be a fool anymore and give them double my money. But what I didn't know is that I'd be getting a better action figure. So once I saw this in person, I knew I had to have it and I had to get rid of my other one. So the face sculpt on this Luke Skywalker is 10 times better than the one that we got in the 30th anniversary collection. They went brand new sculpt. They got the hair color right, and they captured a really nice likeness of Luke Skywalker considering what they could do with technology at the time, right? So this time the head, of course, is on a ball as well, so you can move that side to side, up and down. He does have his medal around his neck there. The medal is removable. You'll notice off the bat that he's very reminiscent of that figure that came in the 30th anniversary, because it's basically exactly the same sculpt, but they put a new head on, which completely changes the figure. They adjusted the color, which was too yellow on the previous one, so it can match the one that we see in the movie. It's a little fainter, fadier looking yellow color, painted a little bit better as well. The legs stance is a little bit wider because the previous one there were two together, so they've done some modifications here. It's probably not a brand new sculpt, the head is, but they've made him at the factory in a way where his legs are sitting a little bit wider apart, which is necessary. It makes this figure look a lot better. Okay, he does have his lightsaber in hand, so we'll take that out just to have a closer look at Luke. So that's the lightsaber that he came with the hilt. Okay. Here we'll notice that he does have his gun in the working holster, so that gun does come out. We can pull that out too to show you. And the gun's a nice wider depiction of the one that he had at the time in the movie. And that sits, of course, in that working holster there. We're just going to leave it out for now just so we can have a look at him, his articulation. Again, at the shoulders here, swivel, so you can move him up, move his arms all the way up, around, and position him any which way you want. You can do the same thing here at the elbows, okay, any which way you want. And of course, you can do that here at the wrist as well. You can just turn his wrist back and forth. You can't go up and down. There's no articulation that way. You can just swivel that there, okay? The jacket is a separate piece that goes over, but because his arms are in jacket, the yellow jacket part, it would look silly to try and take that off. So we'll keep that on. He does have his lightsaber sitting here on his belt. So it sits there right under the jacket. Gives it a nice little, realistic feel, like he's in action mode. The holster is a separate piece attached to the leg there, so it's not glued onto the leg, so it gives you a little more mobility. With his leg, you can move his leg up. You can bend him at the knee there. Then you can also turn him side to side, have him sitting down at the bar, enjoying himself. As far as down here at the ankle, he doesn't have any articulation. That's fixed. Okay, and the same thing goes with both legs. So that's what he looks like from the front. Luke Skywalker Yavin, and that's what he looks like underneath. Foot pegs. Here he is from the side. Let's just have a look. You can see his pant legs there, and you can see his the paint job with the stripe coming down the pant leg there. Okay, and you can see what his head looks like from the side there, and then we'll turn around to the back. We can see what it looks like from the back as well. So a much more realistic, better version of Luke Skywalker that we got as part of that 2013 Black Series wave that was pretty much slept on, and not many people picked up because they were also fooled and said they have the 30th anniversary one, no need to get this guy. So that very same figure that we just looked at from the 2013 Black Series / 30th anniversary collection, Luke Skywalker Yavin Ceremony, would finally get his release on a vintage collection card. So vintage collection would come back, and in 2019 we'd get a brand new Luke Skywalker and vintage collection card back with the Walmart exclusive. So that's this guy over here. Let's bring him to the forefront, have a look at him. So you can see Luke Skywalker's finally been immortalized on a vintage collection card back. You can see his picture here from the movie. It's not the greatest shot. It's more like a matte shot on there, but it's a nice card back. It's a nice Star Wars logo design. It's nice to see the font corrected over here on the front as well to match the original ones. It's a nice thicker font, Luke Skywalker Yavin. And we can see in package that it's basically exactly the same figure that we just looked at, except for one big change on them, and that is the face sculpt. They're using a real scan technology right now, so they've done a much better face sculpt / paint job. So it's a brand new head sculpt there. Let's just bring it forward just so you can see on the Luke, and you'll see the hairpiece is almost like a separate hairpiece the way it's painted on there. It might actually be, and he's got a semi-smile, much better look to him. The eyes are painted really nice on these guys. It doesn't really do it justice unless you see it in person, but it definitely looks a lot better, and it's a lot crispier look than the previous one. It's exactly the same figure though. It's exactly the same paint job other than the head, and of course he does come with his pistol and with the lightsaber hilt, but no lightsaber. So no lightsaber for Luke Skywalker here, just the one that's not ignited. Okay, just the hilt itself. So that's Luke Skywalker on the VC card that came out in 2019. Let's turn around to the back. Have a look at that as well. He's VC number 151. And there he is on the card back there with some other figures that were available at the time. This is around the time that Rise of Skywalker was coming out in the theater as well. So you can see some of those figures there as well as a re-release of Boba Fett too. So that's Luke Skywalker Yavin Ceremony VC version, VC edition. Let's look at one more here. So in 2019, we would get a Black Series version of Luke Skywalker. This outfit became pretty popular because I think around 2015, don't quote me if I'm wrong, but there was a brand new Marvel comic, Star Wars #1. And of course, on the cover there, we have Luke Skywalker wearing the Yavin Ceremony outfit. That's basically the outfit that he's wearing in that time era of the comic book. So it was definitely reason to release him in a vintage collection version as well as a Black Series version. So we'd get a exclusive Comic-Con version of the Black Series Luke, and he came with a few extra accessories. We'll throw a photo up to have a look at him. And then of course he'd get a single figure release, and that's the one that I have over here, Luke Skywalker. So it is a brand new sculpt. It's a really nice looking action figure of Luke. They got a really nice head sculpt going here. I think it's pretty much the same one that they used afterwards on a few other Luke Skywalkers. They've come a long way with how they did the head sculpts. From some angles, it looks exactly like Mark Hamill. At some angles, it doesn't look exactly like him. But, you know, I'm not going to complain. We got Luke Skywalker in 6-inch form in this outfit, and it looks pretty darn good. So, of course, his head's on a ball, so you can move him all the way around there. He does have his medal there. That medal, of course, is removable. Still not wide enough to go on Chewbacca's head, so Chewie's going to have to stay without a medal for now. That's what the medal looks like up close. It's more of a softer material than that one that came out on the Power of the Force 2 version, but still a nice likeness. And then, of course, here's Luke Skywalker with a blaster pistol in hand. So we can take that pistol out just to have a look at it. It's got a little more detail on there. You can see it's got the tip painted and then the little trigger part here on the back that's painted as well. So that's what he came with. He does have a working holster where to put it in as well. So there's the Luke. Again, separate piece here for his jacket, but it would look silly to try and take it off because the arms don't match that. But that's Luke Skywalker from the front there. And of course, he does have articulation here at the shoulders. Fully, you can turn that around. Same thing at the elbows there. Swivel at the elbows. And then, of course, at the wrist here as well. He does have articulation there to move the arm. The sleeve gets in the way, but you can potentially move his arm up and down a little bit there as well. So that's Luke Skywalker at the arms. Over here at the waist, we can see we can turn him side to side. We can go back and forth slightly, but basically just side to side. And then over here, you can see he does have articulation here down below the waist as well. One thing that is not good with this figure, unlike the 3 3/4 inch one, the holster is glued to his pant leg here. So you can see that it's glued on there. As a result, when you try to move his leg up, you can't really get anywhere without potentially breaking that holster. So he's not going to be sitting anytime soon. He does have articulation here at the thigh as well, but again, you can only move him so much because of that belt, because it's glued to his leg. He does have it at the knee here, so you can bend his knees, standard stuff there. And then, of course, at the ankle. And he does have rocker ankles, which is nice. At least we got that with this figure, so you can, you know, position him in a nice stance there as well. Rocker ankles. So that's what Luke Black Series looks like from the front. Okay, let's turn him underneath. See that he's got foot pegs there. Okay, that's what it looks like from the side. Nice paint job on Luke. That's what it looks like from the back. Mine's a little bit dirty up here, but he's got a nice little, weathered look even on his hair here. They did some accents on the back of his head there to make his dirty blonde hair have a little more depth and realism to it. So that's what we get from the Black Series. That's all the Luke Skywalker Yavins that we have to date. He's been visited on the Vintage Collection card back, of course, as well as the Black Series. So I think it's definitive at this point to get Luke out of the way. I hope you guys have enjoyed the review. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care.